Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I go by One Cheap Compadre and you're watching Cheap Compadre TV. On my channel we talk about investing, savings, sometimes politics, and if we have enough time, even story time. So today I'm going to change it up. I have a special guest, my wife Nyreen, and we're going to be talking about San Francisco versus Orlando. Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the cost of living. So when it comes to San Francisco, we all know that it's a very expensive city, and that people who either rent or buy a mortgage there pay about 30% or more on rental and mortgage each month. Okay, so we're going to start there. We're going to compare the two, and then we're going to move on to other topics like weather. We're also going to be talking about food, transportation, people, colleges, things to do as far as attractions, fashion, and also career, high and low of careers. Okay, so here we go.
So today, for cost of living in Orlando, it is much cheaper to live basically in Florida than in California. I find that you get more in Florida for an apartment or if you're owning an house. With California, the cost of living is so high where $1,000 just don't go
Very far,
very
right?
far. Yes, it's like you have to live with a roommate.
Talk about 4 to 5 roommates, and you probably get a room, or you have to share a room, right? Compared to like in Orlando, how's it like in Orlando?
In Orlando, it's pretty cheap. You can live on your own, get an apartment, probably $800-900. Have all the amenities, and live comfortable.
Yeah. So what are some of the amenities here in Orlando?
So in Orlando, you can have a pool, gym, a clubhouse. Just if you want to have a party or if you want to have a little function, you can rent out the clubhouse, or you get all those stuff in California. I mean, if you do get that, you're gonna spend an arm and a leg for it.
And don't forget about the washer and dryers that they have here, right?
Yeah.
In-house.
So here, like every apartment, you'll get a washer and dryer. Like most apartments, they offer you washer and dryer or washer and dryer setup.
Mm-hmm.
So you can like live very comfortable. Unlike in California, like when we were there, we used to have to go to the laundromat a lot just to get our clothes washed.
Right, so you're gonna have to either walk, lift your bags, or take the car or something like that to go to the washer. And then on top of that, you're gonna have to wait until somebody finished washing and drying in order to get access to a washer and dryer. And then on top of that, you're gonna have to pay for that as well.
So yeah, it's not included, like it's separate. So yes, the cost of living here is way much better than in California. You get more for your money, and you can live. It's not the best sometimes, but you basically can live better than how you're living.
Due to the amenities and the cost of living.
Yeah.
I mean, you can wash clothes any time of the day, morning, noon, and night. You can go work out. It's usually until 11.
And I'm not saying that California don't have those amenities.
Right.
I'm just saying
but
that
you're gonna
it's
pay
more
an arm and leg for it,
expensive.
though. Yes, you're gonna pay a lot more for those amenities. And then on top of that, in California, some places you're gonna have to also pay for parking as well. Unlike here, majority of the apartments, you do not have to pay for parking. You get your own parking space.
There's so many parking. You can park anywhere as long as you live in the complex, and you don't have to like get up, move your car on the other side of the street, so you don't get a tow. It's just completely different here than in California when it comes to cost of living.
As far as a house goes, many of the homes are between what $300,000, and with that, you're gonna get what, a pool, spot for washer and dryer. You're gonna get the stainless appliances majority of the time. Square footage is much bigger. You're gonna get actually a front and backyard compared to like in San Francisco where you only get hopefully you get a backyard. And hopefully you'll be able to find a place where you can actually spot for your washer and dryer and whatnot. So with all those amenities, you're definitely going to pay a lot more in California compared to here in Orlando. Now the next thing we're going to talk about, number 2, is weather. So compare the weather with Orlando and San Francisco. What's the difference?
The weather, I will take the weather in California any day. I mean, the weather is so nice. It is like the best weather in the country compared to Florida. Florida is so humid and hot, and it's like you don't want to go anywhere. You don't want to do anything until probably in the evening. It's we're summer every year round. Every year round we're summer. It's like even the winter time it gets chilly, or 1 and 2 days you may have
A drop in temperature. About like what, 40, 30 degrees.
Yeah, but then the next day it might get up back to 80, 90 degrees. So yeah, the Florida is really the weather is really hot in Florida compared to California.
Yes, in California it's mostly about 70 degrees. In the evening you definitely have to have a jacket just in case it gets too cold outside and windy, so you definitely have to cover up. Unlike here, you could walk around in shorts all year, majority of all year round. Usually stays in the 90s here in Orlando. Every now and then, every other day it rains for about good 20-30 minutes majority of the time, and then after that it's just like humid, sticky, and hot.
Bad weather. I mean, some people may like the weather, but I mean, I like the coolness. I like cold, I like cool. And yeah, I might be from Jamaica where it's always hot, but it's not this hot,
right.
Or it's not humid where I'm from. It's just hot, but there's a breeze, there's a wind. Here, it's just once you open your door, all that humidity just comes in.
And that's the reason for California. A lot of people love to stay in the Bay Area because of the weather. You know, they're willing to pay a little bit more money to allow themselves to stay in that weather and live a comfortable lifestyle, opposed to here where, you know, cost of living is cheaper, but yet, you know, you're gonna pay with the heat, where you're gonna have to probably turn on AC every day,
because
all year round.
Our bill here is like $150 a month for electricity, but it's so hot. If you don't turn on your air, your clothes starting getting moldy, and things just start spoiling if it's not in the fridge. So yes, you definitely need air conditioning
all year round.
It's like
so if you're a person who don't like the AC and you like to have the windows open, this may not be the best place for you, because you're gonna have to turn on that AC. So if you're trying to save money there, it's gonna be difficult to do.
Yes. Unlike in California, it's always cold or chilly. You don't need AC.
Right, and you just leave the door.
You can just leave the windows or the door open, and you're good to go.
All right, so that was number 2. That was weather. Now number 3, the food.
Whew. San
Francisco compared to Orlando.
The food. food. It depends. In San Francisco, the food is good compared to Orlando. The food here in Orlando, I find it very bland. If it's not, if it's just American food, I find it very bland compared to San Francisco, where the food is like more tastier, more flavors.
Like the time when I first took you to San Francisco, and I took you to this place in the Mission, 23rd Mission, where they have burritos, and the burritos this long, about that thick, and they open till like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and they cut it and they cook it right there in front of you, and it's just flavorful with all the flavors mixed into it, and you can order it any way you like it. Compared to like Orlando, where majority is Chipotle, and their burritos about this long.
And it's so bland, like it doesn't have any taste to me. I mean, other people may find it like very nice, very tasteful, or but I don't know. My taste bud is probably different from everybody else. I mean, if you want Caribbean food, there's a few places you can go to get that and get a decent amount.
And that's one of the difference here. We was talking about this last night, where here's more Caribbean feel to it, more of Jamaican, which is very flavorful, by the way, depending on where you go. And many of the times those places have some of the similar menu, certain things they serve there, like fried chicken, stewed chicken, and many others that are very delicious. And that's one thing that is good about here in San Francisco, is where majority in San Francisco is mostly American, Spanish, or Asian. Where here you have Haitian, you have Caribbean, Puerto Rico,
you have
Jamaica.
You have more diversity in food selections than not saying that in San Francisco you don't, but I mean, we have like all the different Caribbean food just come together, and we have like Asian as well. We have Spanish food, and it's much cheaper to go out compared to San Francisco, where it's much more expensive. Like in Orlando, you can get Caribbean food like so cheap. You go to the restaurants, $5, $6, $7. Back in California, when we went to
$6 or $7 like for a drink, more.
When we went to this Caribbean, this Jamaican restaurant, just one meal is like $20. So, I mean, and
the reason for that is because there you have a very small selection of Jamaican restaurants there compared to here. Here it's like a dime a dozen, so it brings down the cost of going to those restaurants here. So good. All right, so that was number 3, food. Number 4, transportation. Oh, this is a big one here.
I would give California transportation. They have everything compared to Florida. I mean, especially in Orlando, transportation sucks. If you don't own a car,